one of the main goals of security, right? The next is integrity. If I tell you he is a man of integrity, what does that mean? It means I can trust him to say something today, and if I ask him tomorrow, what is he saying? The same thing. Regardless of the person that is there or the person that is not there, he's functioning the same way, producing the same result as expected. He's predictable. Yeah? But if he says something today in the presence of someone, and then somebody else comes tomorrow, gives him some money or threatens him a bit, and then he's like changing what he said yesterday, he lacks integrity. Yeah. So which means the information he's producing is untrustworthy. I can't make accurate decisions on the information he's giving me, because what about tomorrow? What is he going to say? Yeah? So there's no consistency of operation, there's no consistency of information, and there are two types of integrity. Write this down. There's integrity of data, and there's integrity of systems. Integrity of data means data remains unchanged by an unauthorized party. Yeah? So data remains what? Unchanged by an unauthorized party, meaning data cannot be changed by somebody who is not authorized to change it. Yeah? So if I have a record of accounts of people that have paid a certain fine, yeah? So let's say I collect monthly fines, and 4 people here have paid, but then I put only 3 people have paid. The information I reported is what? Inaccurate. I've removed something. So that record is not accurate, is not complete, right? And it's not correct. Meaning that report lacks what? Integrity. And I may have also lacked integrity because I did that intentionally. I was not authorized to change that record because that's not what happened. My job, my role is to record the people that have paid. My job is not to remove people that have paid, which means me removing somebody from that record, I've done something I'm not authorized to do. So that report lacks integrity. So let's say now I present that report to the chairman, who's supposed to make a decision of purchases based on what we have on ground. They can't make the most accurate decisions because the record they've got is inaccurate, is incomplete, and is incorrect. It lacks integrity. Yeah? So which means what it's saying is different from what should be or what really is. Yeah? So the system lacks integrity if it's not producing the result it should. So a system has integrity if it is functioning as it should. So the first one I reported is integrity of data. Data needs to be correct, complete, and accurate. And integrity of systems is systems are functioning as expected. So a system can function, but is it functioning as intended or as expected? I'll give you a quick example, and then we'll round off on availability. We already talked about strategic alignment. So integrity of systems. If I have a calculator, and I type 2 plus 2, and it gives me 22. It works because I can type in the number, I can press equal to, and it gives me a result. But is the result accurate? Did it calculate or use the correct formula? But is it working? It's working, right? But not as intended. So which means the system lacks integrity. It only has integrity if I type 2 plus 2 and it gives me 4. Then it is working, and it is working as intended. Why is this important? Let's use the health sector again. If the system is supposed to calculate the dosage based on the number of days the person has been receiving treatment, because it's hard for people to keep track, so they've used systems, and the system misses a day or adds 2 days to it, so they finish the medication earlier than they should. The system is still working, but it's not working as intended, leading to it generating unreliable results. So they're making incorrect decisions or judgments based on the results it's given, which is also inaccurate. So that system lacks integrity. Make sense? So integrity is if I come to the system today, it's working this way. I come tomorrow, it should remain what? Working the same way. Yeah, it should keep working the same unless somebody who is authorized to change the process comes and says, okay, this needs an update. Let's change this based on data we received. So we need to update. So then they change it. So then once they change it, I want to see the same result of the new change tomorrow, next tomorrow, and so on until an authorized person comes again to change it. But if an unauthorized person comes to tweak that system and it generates false results, the system lacks what? Integrity. So I said data should be complete, correct, and accurate. Why do you think I've said correct and accurate in the same sentence? Why have you got correct and accurate in the same sentence? So complete makes sense, reasonable, correct, accurate. Why?
To get the exact result.
So do you think there's a difference between accurate and correct?
Technically, yeah.
Technically. Okay, it's a technical course.
For example, I mean, if you're trying to calculate a fraction,
Oh yeah, that would
it would
accurate.
it would depend on how much decimals.
That's a good point. So that's based on the requirements, yeah, and how many decimal places they've asked you to approximate to. But you still be correct either way. It's just an approximation. I'll give you a real life example of the difference between accuracy and correctness in cybersecurity in the context of integrity. If you fill a form today and you enter your birthday as January 2nd, 1942. January 2nd, 1942, right? And you come 50 years later and it still says you're 10 years old, right? Because you entered the information when you were 10, right? The information is still correct because it's not been changed by an unauthorized party. It's the information you put in. It is correct. But at the time you're checking it, is it accurate? Can they make reliable decisions or actions based on that information? No. So the point of integrity is, can I trust this data enough to make the most accurate decision? So it is correct, but it is not accurate. Do you see it? So which means after I entered my birthday, it should go and travel in time with me. So by the time I'm checking that information later, I'm seeing what is correct and also accurate.
Would it mean that was correct and thereby now becoming incorrect?
I get what you're saying. It is correct, but not accurate anymore. It is correct because what I entered was correct at the time of entering. Yeah? And it has not changed. So my birth year and my age at the time, my birth year and my age at the time was still accurate, was still correct, right? But by the time I'm checking it, the information is still correct because I was 10 when I filled the form, and my birth year and date is still correct, but my age, my current age, is no longer accurate. So you should have gone in time with me to also be accurate. Yeah? So that's why I use that example, because many people will think accurate and correct. They should be the same, right? But no, there are lots of other examples, right? But if I enter an information now and it's supposed to increment, you do programming, yeah? So of course it should be like x equals plus 1 kind of equation. So the loop continues. But then I do x equals 1. It's correct, but in 10 years' time, it's not accurate anymore, but my code is still correct.
So I mean, sir, entry data is accurate, but result, it doesn't go like
it's not working as it's supposed to. Yeah. So meaning the system lacked integrity. You can't rely on the information it's producing to make the most accurate decisions. Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with details of the information? For example, I can say that I was born in July 2001. The information would be correct.
Yes.
But I haven't mentioned my exact date, so it wouldn't be accurate.
That's another way. But considering the point here is information, when it's changed by an unauthorized person, is what would make it lack integrity. Or if the system does not function as intended, would also make it lack integrity. Yeah, so there is not functioning as intended and there is changed by an unauthorized person. But because you were authorized at the time of entering the information, it makes it correct. But by the time the information was requested and needed by somebody who needed to make a decision, it was no longer accurate. Same with the banking records. If I go and submit our financial report for the year, right, and I give it to them, and it's like $200,000, and in 5 years' time, we realized we've not submitted to them for like 4 years, but they still have 200,000. It's correct at the time they were keeping it, but it's no longer accurate because it's outdated now.
Yeah.
It's same with your operating system. When you installed it, you're an authorized party, you installed the correct version, but in like 6 months' time, it could become out of date. That does not make what you're using incorrect. It's just not the most up-to-date. Meaning, you can't rely on it to give you the most up-to-date or the best security or the best performance or whatever updates they've added or tweaked. Yeah? Make sense? So that's integrity of data and integrity of systems. And then we've got availability. Is data available when you need it or not? The key phrase here is when you need it. A very exaggerated example, which is also on my course, is if I need to submit my coursework and the deadline to submit the coursework is 11:59 p.m. The system was available from morning till night. But then because many people try to submit from 11:55, it becomes overloaded. And when you were ready, because you like to do things last minute, just roll in. No response until 11:59.59 seconds. And by the time it showed you the portal to submit, it was already 12 o'clock and it was shut down. That system, bear in mind, was available from morning till night. But when you needed it, it was not responding. It was not responsive. That system lacks what? Availability. What should have been in place was what? Scalability or elasticity in such a way that as the load on the server increases, the capacity is able to what? Accommodate the expansion or the increase in the demand of the resources. That's one of the ways you can ensure availability and reduce the chances of non-availability. But we're going to talk about that again. Yeah? Does that make sense? So the key phrase is when you need it. Get that? So the same with if I have a system that is working for 11 months and 12 days, and on Christmas Day, I need to send in a report within a time frame, and then on the 25th of December, it decides to shut down, and it resumes work on 26th. It was available from the beginning of the year up until 24th. 25th, I needed it, it was not available. 26th, it became available. Some people would say, yeah, but the system is reliable. It might be reliable, but it was not available when I needed it, so it lacks what? Availability, because it's about when I need it. If it's available when I don't need it, then it's useless. The point of getting that infrastructure is pointless. It's defeated. So you get assets because you want them to perform a purpose. You want them to be used by people, used by users or whatever. If they are unable to serve that purpose because of lack of responsiveness, then the system lacks availability.